Hello and welcome to Odds on CONMEBOL Qualifiers. Let's analyze with Leo Bachanian all the games for this fourth match day in South America. And remember, if you leave a comment in this video, you have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And if you enjoy the video, click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And now let's talk with Leo. So let's analyze what we have in South America in the CONMEBOL Qualifiers for the World Cup 2022 with Leo Bachanian. Hello, Leo.
Hi, hello, Edu. A pleasure to be with you again.
Also my pleasure and also our pleasure to analyze all the games for the qualifiers. We enjoyed a lot of action the past weekend and there are many interesting games also ahead. Especially, or one of them is the first one because there is a lot on the plate. We have Ecuador, Colombia. Ecuador 6 points, Colombia 4 points, and the mood is high for Ecuador. They won in La Paz with a late winner with a penalty score by Gruezo, and Colombia, you predicted pretty well, Leo. They were defeated at home by Uruguay. Actually, it's the biggest home defeat in Colombian history, and they are pushed now to win. Difficult one to call, no? This Ecuador-Colombia.
Yes, exactly, Edu. You mentioned it right. It was the worst defeat for Colombia in their history, the 0-3 against Uruguay on the weekend. It was really a real Friday 13, as we say in South America, a horror movie. The Colombian display. It was a team that was outmatched everywhere, and to be honest, more worryingly, Edu, for the Colombian fans, I believe, is that they saw a team without fighting spirit, like without character. Maybe the good thing, if you think, for the Cafeteros is that it seems it would be difficult to repeat a performance like that again this Friday. Actually, they won't need to dig very deep. On the road to Russia 2018, they won 2-0 in Quito with a very good performance and goals from James Rodriguez and Cuadrado. Colombia won 4 of the last 5 encounters against Ecuador. The last one was a year ago in November 2019 in a friendly with Matias Uribe as a solitary goal scorer. Probably this time Luis Diaz, who came from the bench, will get a start, but Queiroz will need a lot more from James, definitely. And in front, you said it, no? An Ecuadorian team that did his job in La Paz, and most importantly also coming from behind. I believe that if Gustavo Alfaro, Edu, can convince his players of having the attacking mindset they showed 2 fixtures ago against Uruguay, they can definitely take the 3 points. Although I believe they won't look too bad at a draw. Actually, when we look at the odds, a draw stands around 3.3, and which is not bad at all. But I will predict a home win for Ecuador in this one with odds at 2.7, I believe.
Actually, the odds for both teams are really balanced. Ecuador around 2.7, Colombia around 2.9. So Ecuador is slightly favored. You predict Ecuadorian victory, Leo. And if we check the totals market, do you see goals here? Because Jerry Mina was sent off, Colombia was awful in defense. We saw how Ecuador came back again, scoring 3 goals in La Paz. Never easy. So maybe we can expect here over 2.5 goals. What do you think? We have odds 2.17 more or less.
I expect both teams to score, Edu. I predict, yes, a home win, but I predict Colombia to get on the score sheet, definitely. So yes, I think that the one you mentioned with goals over 2.5 is also something that it will be interesting to look at.
All right, and both teams to score right now on Expedia.com is 1.91 if someone also fancy this option. And let's take a flight from Quito to Venezuela to check Venezuela, Chile. Venezuela's performance against Brazil was pretty good. I would say, of course, they didn't have many chances, but at least between the VAR, the referee, they only conceded 1 goal. and Chile finally won. Probably they are
Yeah.
not convincing yet, Leo, but well, Vidal scored a very good goal. He scored both goals for La Roja, and here also Chile needs to win, but it's not gonna be easy.
Yes, and I will start actually, Edu, with Arturo, with King Arturo. It was a display of a kind that Chilean, as many I was reading in some Chilean newspaper, straight away they label Arturo the most influential player in their history. Actually, what we saw against Peru was King Arturo plus 10. The Inter midfielder, Edu, was exceptional, scoring 2 goals. Actually, the first one already a contender for the best CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying goal of the road to Qatar. An amazing mid-range shooting from Arturo in his first goal. Yes, I would agree with you. I wouldn't say that was a display with no mistakes, because there were some clumsy moments in defense for Rueda's teams, but they are clear favorites to take the 3 points to Santiago. The Trasandinos, Edu, won the last 4 games against the Vino Tinto. The last one in Caracas on the road to Russia was 4-1, and King Arturo also scored twice on that time. A victory will leave the Chilean team in a playoff position at the very least. Moreover, Rueda will count, Edu, with Alexis Sanchez, who did not play on Friday, so more good news for them. In contrast, for Jose Peseiro's team, the match presents itself as a must-win. Yes, a Chilean victory will leave them with a miserable 1 point out of 12, and with many people, I believe, asking for the Portuguese coach head if this doesn't go in the Vinotinto's direction. I agree with you that the display in Brazil, if we take into account the rival in front, yes, was good. The spirit was there, the fight was there. It took Brazil 65 minutes to open the score. The problem, Edu, is that Venezuela has not scored a single goal in the first 3 rounds of the qualifier for Qatar 2022. There are only 2 precedents in South America of a team not scoring in the first 3 round of fixtures. Venezuela itself on the way to Korea, Japan 2002, and Bolivia on the way to South Africa 2010. All this said, a home win with odds at 3.4 may sound interesting for some, but I'm inclined for an away win with odds at 2.3.
Okay, the away win actually sounds the most likely thing, especially with Chile right now out of the playoff positions. They are seated 6th in the table, and you mentioned that Venezuela is struggling to score goals. Actually, they haven't scored a single goal. Chile is always tough to play with, tough to score goals against, and we have under 2.5 goals at 1.7. That could be another option.
Yes.
We think, and I think it's gonna be pretty likely, not that we don't see many goals in this fixture. And another one that probably we don't see many goals, I would say, is the next one in Paraguay.
Yeah.
Because we mentioned before last week that Paraguay is also a very tough team to play with. Bolivia, when they travel outside La Paz, they always struggle, and they are way weaker team. And well, they almost got something, in La Paz against Ecuador. They took the lead. They even got the draw after a good header, but they finally missed their chances. And Paraguay got a very important point in La Bombonera. So here, Leo, Paraguay's odds are very low, actually, 1.3. I think Paraguay should win this game, of course.
Yes, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a one-sided game as to the extent of Brazil-Venezuela on the previous round of fixtures, but with no due respect to Bolivia, Edu, what Cesar Farias' men have to offer, at least what we have seen so far, lays way behind of what is needed at this level. Against Ecuador was another poor performance, even though, as you said, they were leading 1-0, and they also managed to partially level the score in the second half. Maybe the only positive they took was on the individual side. Remember on the previous preview we done together, I was referring to Marcelo Martins, who I told you was 2 goals behind Joaquin Boteros as the most prolific goal scorer in Bolivia's history. Well, Martins scored against Ecuador, so he's only now 1 goal behind the Joaquin Boteros mark. And Berizzo's men have 5 points so far after 3 games. They are in a playoff place right now. But a victory, and of course depending what happened with Ecuador, Uruguay and Argentina results, but a victory could see them finishing in the 2nd place this round of fixture. The last 2 times at home against Bolivia, they took the 3 points, Edu, the Paraguayans. They will surely miss Miguel Almiron, their best player, who had a great game against Argentina, but also Almiron took a really silly yellow at the end of the match and will miss this game against Bolivia. Yes, odds of 1.3, 1.28 for an Albirojas win. Both teams to score. We talk of Martins looking for his record, sits at a slightly higher odds at 1.43.
I had even here thinking that maybe Bolivia is not scoring. Paraguay to win 2-0 is 1.87, because as you said, no, we have to expect a Paraguayan victory, but it's not that clear in terms of betting with Asian handicap. Probably we are not gonna see Paraguay winning comfortably to Bolivia. The difference between these 2 teams is not that high, but let's expect a Paraguayan victory here.
Yep.
At least. And probably is more attractive, more appealing the next game in Montevideo, the biggest clash in this match day of the CONMEBOL. Uruguay-Brazil, what a game, especially after Tavares men thrashed in a very good performance again against Colombia. Seeing Cavani scoring again is always a good piece of news. And Brazil, well, we mentioned that they might struggle without Neymar in front, and they did. And you also said that be careful with Firmino, but because when he gets the verde amarela, he always scored and was exactly. He was the one delivering here. Brazil 9 points, Uruguay 6 points. Uruguayan odds are very, very appealing here. Leo 3.4. I don't know if you expect Brazil to win also. Here is, Brazil is very reliable when they play in South America, but this is a tough one.
It's a tough one, but at the same time, Edu, I would say what a difference, no? Sometimes a week can make, because if you go now to Montevideo, they grow from doubters to believers, all in the space of 1 week, all in the space of 1 win, a great win away in Barranquilla. Actually, if you want to put it in a broader context, that 0-3 in Barranquilla, Uruguay achieved the most resounding victory in all of its history in a South American qualifying match played away from home. So just to make an idea of how important, how big was that triumph in Barranquilla. Suarez scoring for the 4th consecutive qualifier match. Moreover, in this road to Qatar, Lucho has scored 4 goals, and all of them from the penalty spot. So let's see if any penalty for Tavares team also against Brazil. You mentioned Cavani putting his name on the score sheet. And then I also, when I was looking at the match, at this Colombia-Uruguay, I would like to highlight that Maestro Tavares, many times was criticized for doing defensive changes during the game. And against Colombia, he took off Nicolás de la Cruz, an attacking midfielder, and he introduced Darwin Núñez, a forward. Núñez also he scored on the 0-3. And just a little tip on Núñez. I believe this young guy, is the next big thing in South America. So big, we have to open the eyes to see Darwin Núñez. A little tip, well, maybe it's not a tip, but at least a stat interesting in case Uruguay goes to halftime leading, Edu. In 57 qualifiers matches in which they lead at halftime, they ended up winning 46 times, they draw 10, and they lost only 1. But of course, if you play against Brazil, there is always there will always be a but. And the but in this case for Uruguay, Edu, is that in the last 14 years, since 2006 when Maestro Tavares took over, the Celeste, they never managed to win against Brazil. Actually, Uruguay have not beaten Brazil since 2001, losing 7 of the last 9 meetings against the Verde Amarela. The last time the Verde Amarela visited Montevideo, they went home with a 4-1 victory on the road to Russia, and before that, on the road to South Africa 2010, the score was a 4-0 for Brazil. Moreover, Edu, listen to this. Brazil in the qualifiers since Tite arrived, 13 victories and 2 draws in 15 games, no defeats, 40 goals for and only 5 goals against, 41 points out of 45 possible. That is a 91% rate of points. So, but after saying all this, you will think, okay, I will go for Brazil. But listen to this. Because of what I saw against Venezuela, because they won't have Neymar, Fabinho and Coutinho, I'm predicting here, Edu, a draw with odds at 2.1.
At least I thought you were gonna say you predicted a Uruguayan victory instead of all this stuff. That would be even more surprising. I'm gonna give you some other options.
Yeah.
You said Luis Suarez is scoring from a penalty. Uruguay to score from a penalty. Odds are 6.0. So nice. That's not a bad one. Brazil, we mentioned that the odds for a victory is kind of high, to around 2.6. If you have double chance option, for instance, draw or Brazilian victory, odds are around 1.47. That's a little bit low, but if we check, for instance, the Asian handicap for Brazil 0, we have odds at 1.86. So that means, Leo, that if you bet on Brazil there and they win, we get our money, but if they draw, we get our money back. So at least it's more an insurance if you trust Brazil to win in Montevideo. Otherwise, we bet the draw, as you predicted.
Yep.
And another good one is the last one we have to analyze. Your national team traveling to Peru. Peru only 1 point, very, very disappointed, I would say, no? After they arrived to the final of Copa America. I'm sure Gareca's men are not happy because the dream of going to the World Cup is getting a little bit farther, and they have to wake up against Argentina, also a draw, against Paraguay with the goal scored by Nico Gonzalez. Actually, I was checking the lineup, no, Scaloni's lineup, and it's impressive, the talent that Argentina has in the squad. But well, 7 points so far. The Argentina really favorite to win in Lima. Odds are 1.83. Do you trust your men?
I will predict here, and then I will first tell you the prediction, and then I will go on the details. I will predict here a home win for Peru with odds at 3.2. You know, the last 2 times around for Argentina in Lima, we couldn't take, or Argentina national team couldn't take more than a point. On the road to Brazil, it was a 1-1, and then on the road to Russia 2018, it was another draw. In that case, was a 2-2. And why I'm telling you this? Yeah, it's true. I mean, Argentina was convincing, if you want, in patches, no, against Paraguay, mostly after Lo Celso was introduced. But Edu, Scaloni's men have a problem. Yes, you said the talent at his disposal, but the problem in here is that they cannot score. In the last 5 years, yes, in the last 5 years, Argentina played 21 qualifier games, and they only managed to score 23 goals. That is slightly over 1 goal per game. Only Venezuela and Bolivia scored less than Argentina in these 25 qualifier games. And of the 21 games, they didn't, and on these 21 games, they didn't score in 7 of them. So that's where I see the problem with the Argentina national team. Yes, of course, they have Messi, and I can say this, and then he can score a hat-trick. but they have a serious problem when it comes to scoring goals, at least in the last few years playing on qualifying games for the Argentina national team. And then you have Peru. You say it's true. I mean, if they don't manage to take something from this game, they could look with 1 point out of 12, which could be very bad for the dreams of qualifying for Gareca's men. You need to also add, Edu, that the moment that this game comes to Peru, a country nowadays, or now this weekend, plunged into a political crisis with repression in the streets. Actually, and I mention this because the match was put in doubt last night until the Peruvian Federation gave the security clearance for the encounter to go ahead. So I believe that the Gareca's men will take everything that is happening outside of the playing field into their advantage. Yes, of course, they will need to strike the right balance so they are not overwhelmed with emotions, but they could use that fire and that desire to give a win to their people, to deliver a good performance.
Well, it's very important what you mentioned, Leo, about all the social things always around Peru. It happened the same now with Venezuela still happening. And well, let's hope for the Peruvian people if they can get a victory and some happiness. The odds actually are going up and up for Peru. Now it's even over 4. So if you want to be a little bit more cautious, you can even bet on Asian handicap. We have Asian handicap +1 for Peru. In this case, we win our bet if they win the game, if they draw, and if they lose the game for only 1 goal, we get our money back, Leo. We get and the odds are 1.57, so that's way more cautious than your option. But maybe someone doesn't want to risk that much. But the odds for a Peruvian victory, that would be hitting the jackpot actually with those odds. So it's a lot to bet, a lot to watch in South America. Always big teams, big national teams stay away from the World Cup, and there are many surprises. So I just want to hear, Leo, your accumulator for this week.
The accumulator, open your eyes, because it sounds, and it is big. For every euro you put on this accumulator, which as I'll quickly recap, I predicted the Ecuador win, a home win against Colombia, an away win in Venezuela, Chile, a home win in Paraguay, Bolivia, a draw in Uruguay, Brazil, and a home win in the case of Peru and Argentina. The accumulator there, for every euro, the return is 110.
That's hitting the jackpot. Yeah, you don't want to work anymore, Leo, after putting 100 euros on that. We don't work anymore for that month.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your knowledge and your tips for the CONMEBOL for South America. See you, Leo.
See you later. My pleasure.
Argentina losing in Peru. Well, his accumulator, Leo, wants us to win a lot of money. Let me know if you agree with him in the comment section, and you will also have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet if you leave a comment. Remember also to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get notifications. You can listen to these videos also in our podcast, and we will be back very soon with more odds on CONMEBOL. Goodbye.